Assalamu alaikum, my name is Syed Mohammad Awais and you're watching Sports Extra on PTV World. And there's a big news from Pakistan dugout where Pakistan has won the second ODI match against Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, the first one-day match we had lost, but the second one-day match, if we talk about, we had 146 runs target to achieve, and it was a brilliant start by the openers. Pakistan won by 10 wickets. Good to see Saim Ayub back in the form with Abdullah Shafiq, because it was a must win for Pakistan. Specifically, when you talk about your opening department, there has been news that everyone has been criticizing about the strike rates of Pakistani batsmen. That really needs to keep focus on, but it looked good with Pakistan showed some intent. Specifically, if you talk about Saim Ayub, his intent was clear the way he performed in today's match, and it was very important for Pakistan to be back on the track, because the first match what Pakistan lost, many of the people criticized the Pakistan team. Ibrahim Ahmed took 4 wickets in his debut match today. Talking about the other spinners like Salman Ali Agha, he took 3 wickets, and Faisal Akram, a talent to watch on, he took 1 wicket over here for Pakistan. But it was a brilliant one for Pakistan to be back on the stage. By the third ODI match to be played on Thursday, the final, it will be a final countdown for Pakistan versus Zimbabwe. As we move on, we talk about the historic test match between India versus Australia, where India defeated Australia by 295 runs. What a match it was by India. If you talk about the Indian first innings, I remember when India was bowled out for 156, everyone was criticizing about the Indian team, the way Indian batting looked against the mighty Aussies. But the way India came back in the second innings, thanks to Bumrah, the way he bowled his spell, Siraj, but the way India batted Virat Kohli. When you talk about Virat Kohli, the opening department, they were superb. They never let Australia back in the track over here. It was a superb win by Australia. To talk about this, but specifically talk about the Pakistan versus Zimbabwe tour going on right now in Zimbabwe, where Pakistan looks under a little bit comfortable position, but still I would say it's a third match to come up. Pakistan team really now still needs to be more keen focused over here to win the series. I've been joined by 2 fabulous guests in the studio. I've been joined by Aslan Khokar. He's an anchor. He's a cricket expert. Assalamu alaikum, Aslan.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you, Abbas.
Thank you so much. I've been joined by Sabir Hussain, cricket analyst. Assalamu alaikum, Sabir.
Walaikum assalam, Abbas.
Thank you so much. And I've been joined by Skype, Ehsan Haqqani. Assalamu alaikum, Ehsan.
All doing good. Wonderful news coming our way from Zimbabwe. Assalamu alaikum.
You look more happy, man. We need to be, because we have been criticizing the Pakistan team. Aslan, what do you say about the win of Pakistan? But it was a good, fabulous win by Pakistan team. But again, I would say the intent was clear today. That's the intent what Pakistan team, specifically your opening department, needs to show on.
Actually, Abbas, it was the first match, which was very destructive for us, because we just won a series at Australia. Now we started a series from 0 at Zimbabwe. This was very disturbing. But now it's a good sign. Pakistan got the second match, and I think it is very timely, very need of Pakistan cricket team, because everyone was criticizing after the first ODI game. Everyone was criticizing that Pakistan couldn't able to score 200 runs, Pakistan couldn't defend 200 runs, Pakistan blah and blah. It was a very good win for Pakistan, and especially about the opening partnership. I think it's a very timely, very needy opening partnership. We always need such kind of opening partnerships, but it shouldn't be in intervals. I'm continually saying that it shouldn't be in intervals, that both of the openers need to understand that opening partnerships are always a winning game partnerships. And Saim Ayub, everyone was criticizing Saim Ayub after first game, and I never criticized, because I thought that it was little mismanaged. You send back the players from Australia, then you again send them to Zimbabwe, a big travel time, and that wasn't, I think it wasn't mismanaged by Pakistan Cricket Board, because you have to give chance to the players that they should travel with the team to Zimbabwe. Why wouldn't they travel back to Pakistan? Why would they travel back again to Zimbabwe? It was mismanaged, and Saim Ayub did a very good job. 182 was his strike rate today. It was a very good job. Abdullah Shafiq did a very decent job. They both done good job. 145 and without any wicket, and it was, I think it was a very great effort for Pakistan team, and especially for Rizwan. It was totally a back-to-back, a second series after Australia. And Australia series, I never thought that Pakistan would be winning that series, but Pakistan managed to win that series, and Pakistan did that at Australia after T20 bad games. Again we came back in the ODI game. After the bad ODI, we came back with a good ODI game in the second ODI, and I think it's a very good sign for Pakistan, and Pakistan should continue this momentum to get that series.
Sabir, 53 ball century by Saim Ayub, because I told you, like, Saim has been under a lot of criticism. I've been criticizing him because we need to show that intent again. When you're scoring at a rate, when you chasing at a rate of three or 4 runs per over, you need to show some intent of 6 and 7 runs per over. Saim Ayub has been not performing well, but it was a good knock by him. 53 runs, 100 plus score over here. What confidence will he get from this?
Absolutely, Awais, first of all, congratulations to all cricketing fans. Basically Pakistan, won that particular second ODI. All of us basically, not me by the way, everybody was criticizing Pakistan, the way basically we lost against Zimbabwe in the first ODI. Look, we always talk about the youngsters must be getting the chance. If you are giving the chances to youngsters, these kind of results can happen. So we must not criticize Pakistan a lot. We Pakistani fans are a bit choosy, I would say sometimes, but we have to respect the other opposition as well. The way basically Zimbabwean bowlers basically they bowled, that was marvelous. And let's coming back to Saim Ayub. Yes, he's a youngster, he's learning, and he has a very good ODI series against Australia as well. Again, I would say give him some time, because if you've selected him, for all 3 formats, so these kind of batsmen who have some kind of technical flaws, I believe. So he basically needs to understand his technical issues. He needs to consult with the coaches as well. So sometime he basically comes up very good as far as his batting is concerned. And intent, if you're talking about intent, yes, he's aggressive. Naturally, he's a very aggressive player. He has basically all kinds of shots. But he basically needs to understand the role of power play, and also the role with Abdullah Shafiq as well. He has been badly flopped in initial matches, especially in the test matches as well. We have seen along with Abdullah Shafiq, but now he's basically getting his form back, especially in ODIs as well. The way basically he got out in the first ODI, it was unlucky, I would say. We have to respect the other opposition, but it's a very good win for Pakistan. Obviously, a big win. The opening partnership basically more than 100 runs. I don't know what will be the future of Imam Ulaq and Fakhar Zaman. The way basically Saim Ayub and Abdullah Shafiq, they have been batting. Very good performance as far as the bowling is concerned. Look, Awais, Pakistani bowling lineup is very good. We always talk about in the first 3 ODIs against Australia, we basically bowled them less than 35 overs. It's a very appreciating kind of a thing for Pakistani captain Mohammad Rizwan. It was a long back ago when Sarfaraz Ahmed's captaincy, we always used to appreciate his captaincy, because he was the one, his team basically used to pick up the wickets in T20s with the help of Mohammad Nawaz, Hassan Ali, Shadab Khan, and some other Mohammad Amir as well. The same kind of thing happening in Rizwan's captaincy as well. We basically bundled out Zimbabwe less than 40 overs in the first ODI, and again today we basically all picked up all 10 wickets in less than 33 overs. So this is kind of heartening to see. Pakistani bowlers basically are getting their form back. Couple of youngsters are performing really well, so very good sign for Pakistan.
Ehsan, moving on to you, because there's one thing what I wanted to say. I remember I used to not criticize him, but a constructive criticism was that when you have to chase around 200 plus runs, Pakistan specifically 220, 230, your strike rate and your way of play should be different, a totally different kind of thing. Pakistan in the last, I would say, ODI matches has been brilliant. The bowlers have been brilliant, taking early wickets, getting the team under pressure, getting them bowled out under 150 has been a good total chase on. But when we have to chase 200 plus runs, what's the issue with the openers? What's going on in the mindset?
That's exactly rightly pointed out over there. When you talk about Pakistan being a superb side, they're always really good when there's a short total on the board. And the credit must be given to all the bowlers as well. Saim Ayub, yes, brilliant performance. I don't know why you're criticizing him. I think he's a brilliant batsman that has a find from Pakistan that is going to go a very long way. I see somewhat of a Saeed Anwar in him. But then again, you remember Australia versus Pakistan, the ODI series. We lost the first match, came back stronger, both of the matches, took the series. I wanted the same duo, Saim Ayub and Abdullah Shafiq, to be featured in the T20s as well. Once you're there, the setting is made, the players are comfortable with the environment. Right now they're in Zimbabwe. So Bulawayo pitch is traditionally a high scoring pitch. If they've made sure that Zimbabweans are constrained to 145, that means that the Pakistani bowlers have outdone themselves. Something might be in play in the Zimbabwean order as well. They might have changed the pitch according to the conditions. But then again, look how our bowlers performed. Abrar Ahmed coming in, taking 4 wickets. Salman Ali Agha taking 3 wickets. Saim Ayub with 1. Faisal Akram coming in with 1 as well. The pace battery wasn't working.
It was all spinners. So we tend to be gelling in with the conditions, might as well make sure that the same team plays again and goes on to play somewhat of T20s as well. I don't want to see much of changes now. Make sure, just as one of your guests said, make sure we have consistency in the opening partnership. That is the way forward. And then again, Mohammad Rizwan needs to focus on his captaincy, but make sure that his game doesn't get affected. We've seen him scoring low score when you talk about strike rate. We need to focus on the strike rate. Go in there, be fearful. What's there to fear? It's Zimbabwe, for God's sake. Coming on the stats now, we've lost the last, before this, we had lost the last 2 to 3 ODIs and 1 T20 against Zimbabwe. So there's a new team gelling up. Make sure we're consistent in whatever we do. Not much of changes is going to help Pakistan in the longer run.
It is, I mean, because Arslan, if you just talk about your batting lineup, I mean, just move on to the bowling lineup, because bowling has been a lot better. When you talk about Australia, Pakistan bowlers are done a superb job. When you talk today, Ibrar specifically, I would like to discuss, because it was his debut game. He has been with the Pakistan team around for 1.5 years. Never played a one-day match. He's back with a one-day match over here, taking 4 crucial wickets when Pakistan was already, 1-0 in the series. How important his role was, and how important Ibrar Ahmed as an ODI bowler he is.
I think Abrar has to go long way to show his potential. It's very early to say that Abrar is okay. Abrar is very good with one good performance. He has to show more performances, and he needs to be consistent with performing. Actually, the problem is that Awais, what I have been talking before, that you sent back Abdullah Shafiq and Saim Ayub to Pakistan from Australia. Then they again travelled back to Zimbabwe. Why you let them travel so long? And it's not the way. You guys cannot have a potential, or you guys don't have finance to stay the whole team at Zimbabwe as well after the Australian series. And why you send back, I don't understand why they are not actually picking Saim Ayub for T20s. If he got good form in one-dayers, I think after a long time, I'm very happy with Saim Ayub, how he played in Australia, now how he is playing in Zimbabwe as well. I'm very happy with that. And now talking about Abdullah Shafiq, he's coming back to his form, and he's getting his form back. So why you guys are not picking them in T20? I mean, I don't understand that. Now the strike rate is okay, 182. He played with 182 strike rate. It is okay. Now talking about Abrar.
I was actually literally shocked to see the strike rate being 180, because I was
because it wasn't 300 to chase. Yeah, it wasn't 300 to chase. When I saw 300 on the board, definitely strike rate would be very changed. And I always say that we are very much confused to chase 300 or 280 plus runs, odd runs. But still, Pakistan did a very good job. Abrar is a very good bowler, but with few varieties, or with I think a little circumstances, if he's not changing his patterns, like what he did in the last test match, he wasn't changing the pattern, and all the batters understand how he is bowling that. I think he needs to get more varieties. He's a very good bowler, but he needs more varieties. He needs to understand the pitch as well. He needs to understand the situation as well. How he bowled in this match, it was marvelous. It was excellent. He got 4 wickets. Salman Ali Agha did very good job, and even Saim Ayub bowled very well, and Faisal Akram, the newcomer. Faisal Akram, I'm very much impressed with him. Sufyan Mukim did a very good job at Australia. Sufyan is a very good bowler, and I'm sure he will be the bright future of Pakistan. Definitely with Faisal Akram as well. Qasim Akram we have, and lot others. Tayyab Tahir is still to show his talent as well, because he didn't get a chance today to play in this match. But still, what about Hasibullah? I'm talking about Hasibullah. What about him? Why he is not performing? He got chance. He got a perfect chance at Australia, but he wasn't performing well. He got a pure chance at PSL, but he wasn't performing well. And he got fully chance at Shaheen A's matches, but he wasn't performing well. But he has to be perform well if he want to fit in Rizwan's gloves.
But I rightly pointed, I mean, because Sabir, when you talk about Hasibullah, obviously one thing comes in your mind is that he's going to be the second command wicketkeeper for you. Rizwan, undoubtedly, he's one of the best wicket-keeping man in Pakistan country right now, in the domestic circuit too. But the thing is that when you talk about Hasibullah, what I've studied about him is that he has been a great opener. He batted as an opener for many seasons, even for Balochistan. He's a hard-working cricketer. For under 19, he was a very strong candidate in the batting order. Fluctuation of his batting order has been a lot whenever given as a chance. For Pakistan, he hasn't been given many chances, but he looks as a good, promising cricketer.
I totally agree with Salan. He's rightly pointed out. I mean, Hasibullah has been given a couple of chances, but again, he's a youngster. He's learning. Technically, he's good, I would say, because he has performed in the domestic circuit. We have seen technically he is all kind of shots. We have seen, in Australia and in New Zealand a couple of years ago when Shaheen Shah Afridi was a captain of T20, he basically made a couple of good T20s and 30s. But basically, he needs to understand his role. He needs to basically convert these 20s into 50s, 50s into 70s, especially in a shorter format. There are a couple of more youngsters we should be pointed out. Kaslan again said Qasim Akram. Qasim Akram, what's wrong with Qasim Akram? He must be given a chance. Like we have seen, it's good to see, heartening to see that Akif Javed and his selection committee team, they are giving chances to a couple of youngsters. I mean, like Sufyan Mukim, Mehran Mumtaz we were talking about. Faisal Akram is a very good prospect for Pakistan. Chinaman left arm, spinner. Again, Abrar Ahmed, a good comeback for him because he has been benched for so many months, I would say, especially in the T20 2023 World Cup in India. He should have been given a chance, especially, but the way Shadab was not performing really well, he deserved a chance. But again, heads off to this particular selection committee. They stood with Abrar Ahmed, and today he basically proved he's a very good shorter format bowler, and also in an ODIs as well. I would love to see Arafat Minhas to be a good all-rounder, because Pakistan needs to have another all-rounder, because we have seen we struggled a lot in most of the conditions in Australia in 2022 World Cup when we did not have fast bowling all-rounder. Again we have to have some kind of consistent chances to Amir Jamal and another all-rounder, because we have seen the performances of Pakistan middle order batsmen. But if you're targeting some couple of hard-hitting batsmen led down the other, then you need to have at least two all-rounders in your team who can bowl and also bat a bit.
Ahsan, that's the thing. If you talk about when you talk about Champions Trophy, when you talk about your big series coming up, because your Pakistan has to play against South Africa, then you want to have to play against the Tri-Nation Series, you need in the middle order. The biggest issue is your middle order. You need someone with the high strike rates who can target the boundaries well.
Well, I'm very concerned about the situation right now. The Champions Trophy would be hosted by Pakistan, in Pakistan, hopefully. But the thing is that we're probably not ready for it right now because we're in the revamping stage. We need to understand the fact that our team is very volatile. They perform well, we go, oh wow. They don't perform well, we criticize and we criticize and we criticize. Now, consistency is the key over here. You stick with one team and you make them play, but the players need to be consistent. Like in Pakistan, the conditions are very different to what were in Australia. So you cannot go ahead and say that this person didn't really perform, got bashed as a bowler, or didn't really click as a batsman. We need to make sure that if it's in Pakistan, it suits our conditions. The pitch should be made according to our own conditions and favorable to our bowlers. We've always been a bowling friendly nation. So let's make sure that our bowlers are there. And then just as my friend over there pointed out, that we need a solid one or two all-rounders over there. Amir Jamal is a very good prospect. Shaheen Shah Afridi wanted to be a very good all-rounder. I think he's still struggling in the batting department, although he wants to be an all-rounder. But then again, we lack that one all-rounder that always used to be in our team. It used to be Abdul Razak at one time, Azhar Mahmood at the other time, back in the day. But then again, we lack that in the middle order. And then, I mean, we're not left with players who were performing before. We need that Rizwan and Babar partnership to be there in the long run. The Champions Trophy is coming up. And now a solid partnership between Saim Ayub and Abdullah Shafiq. This can go a long way. Then we have Haris Rauf. I want him to perform in the team as well. And Salman Ali Agha and now Abrar Ahmed showing his skills in the one days as well. So we need to have a good spinner in the team as well, a spin or two. Pakistani conditions, Pakistani pitches. Let's see how the PCB gets involved in making the curators make a pitch that is actually going to benefit Pakistan for the Champions Trophy.
Makes a thing which I was actually which I was thinking about to discuss. The biggest name, Aslan, is Salman Ali Agha. He's a vice captain of Pakistan. A good prospect for Pakistan. He performed really well in the Test series, I would say. He performed in patches for Pakistan. But when he's given a captaincy for Pakistan, he does not look that good in colours. I mean, as a vice captain, he does not look coloured. He's off color, confidence a little bit shattered, I would say. He is the guy who everyone has been speaking about that. What's happened to his form?
Yeah, I think it's a very early to say like that. He's a very good chap and he has been performing very great from I think 1.5 years. Last 1.5 year, he's very good batter. But still, what I think so, he's also struggling with the order shuffling. I think sometime we send him at 5, sometime we send him at 4, sometime we put him at 6. I don't understand why, but still he's a very good batter and he can perform well. Not, I don't think so. Okay, he has got some kind of burden on it regarding captaincy, because the whole burden is carrying by Rizwan. He is actually the captain and he is the vice captain. He needs to learn from Rizwan as well. And after a long time, I think there is another keeper who is a very good captain. Sarfraz did a very good job. Now Rizwan is doing a good job, and definitely the juniors or youngsters has to learn from Rizwan as well. And he's a very good guy. I want to talk about this. Why you are not fitting someone else at 6 number? Why you are not fitting someone else at 6 number? If you are talking about Amir Jamal, he's a very good prospect. Okay. If you are talking about Jahandat Khan, he's a very good prospect. He has to learn a lot now. And why not? We are talking about Saud Shakil. Why not Saud Shakil shouldn't be at number 5 or shouldn't be at number 6, where we need him we have to do some kind of different changes now. We have to think some different kind of aspects. Like Saud Shakil is a very good batter. He's a very sound batter by technique, but we have to tell him that how to play in the situations. We don't need to tell him that how to pick the bat. We don't need to tell that how to maintain your footwork. He already knew that. We have to tell them how to play in the situations like that, when you lost 2 wickets early, when you lost 4 early wickets, when you lost 5 early wickets, and you have to play with tail enders. That's what we have to teach them, and that's the role of a management actually. Why not management is doing this role for a long time, and it's actually a missing role. If you talk about Amir Jamal, he's a very good prospect, but who is going to tell him that you should be ready for 5 or for 6 to take burden? Who should be telling them? Definitely Aqib Javed now, definitely it's a role of a coach, definitely it's a role of a management.
That's the important thing, because Sabir, it's from the dugout. I mean, the management sitting up over there, they need to have a clear message with the player, what role he has to play. The biggest issue what I feel is that, see, we have been discussing about the opening department. Fast bowlers have been doing a fabulous job with, the bowling unit has been doing a fabulous job. It's the concern of your middle order and down the order, where you have to win matches for Pakistan. From many years, you haven't seen a match winner for Pakistan finishing the match for you, even if it's Iftikhar. Like even you mentioned previously, Iftikhar, if you talk about Iftikhar, you gave many chances to Asif Ali, but never created a match finisher. How important right now in this era a match finisher is?
Rightly pointed out. I mean, yes, we have been struggling, and we have been struggling for so many years, I would say, in middle order department, not in ODIs and also, but also in T20s as well. Look, I mean, Salman Ali Agha, he has been appointed as a vice captain, and forcefully he has been playing ODIs, to be very honest. I have a huge respect. He's a good utility player, by the way, Salman Ali Agha. He has 96 first class matches and 103 list A matches as well. So, he has say more than 6,000 runs in first class cricket. But he needs to understand his role as a middle order batsman. Also, the kind of a pressure of vice captaincy. The way he basically batted in Australia, it was not acceptable. The way he has been batting in Zimbabwe as well, it's not acceptable. Yes, he has been contributing a bit with the ball, but his prime responsibility is to bat, to bat longer, because you are in the absence of Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Imamul Haq, you are a kind of a senior player. You need to basically perform really well with the bat as well. But I mean, we have some other options. Like I always talk about Saud Shakil, the guy who is technically sound. He can perform in every condition. We have seen Saud Shakil. He has performed in Sri Lanka in difficult tracks of spinning tracks, against quality bowling lineup. We have seen his performance in ODI World Cup in India, in the middle order, when basically we were in a crisis. He basically used to come and get his inning along. So this kind of a batsman I want, basically, to be very honest. I don't want to have some kind of all-rounder who can bowl a bit 2 to 3 overs, then he can slog at every second ball. So I want a proper kind of a middle order, technically sound batsman, which could be Saud Shakil or maybe Kamran Ghulam. So after both of them, then you can have some kind of a hard-hitting all-rounder like we used to have, Khush Dil Shah. given the chances to Asif Ali as well, Iftikhar Ahmed. You can name lots of kind of a middle order, a lower bad batsman. But this particular time, if you're targeting Champions Trophy, if you're targeting ODIs, if you're giving respect to ODIs, then you have to have some kind of a proper number 7, kind of all-rounder who can basically contribute a bit with the ball, but the prime responsibility to get the runs and very quickly.
It is important because as you talk, I mean, if you just talk about Ahsan, the position at number 6 specifically, it's a position like Hardik Pandya. If you talk about Stoinis, what the position they play on, it's a kill license. I mean, when you go over there, I know they would not perform in 3-4 matches, but a match which what they would perform would be the biggest match, and they'll win the match for you. That kind of a role, Pakistan has to establish one. I mean, they need to look for someone, even if it's Irfan Niazi, even if it's there are talks about Abdul Samad, there are talks about Iftikhar coming back to the team. They need to make clear one role for one player.
I think this is a very crucial position that you guys are talking about. But Iftikhar Ahmed, I think he's been tried and tested. He's not a finisher. I think that he contributes to the team, but we need a sort of person who's like Hardik Pandya over here. And I don't see anybody right now. And Saud Shakil could be put up the order a little on number 5, I guess. And Kamran Ghulam being there, yes, they're backups. But I don't see any player right now who can actually be tamed to be somewhat like Hardik Pandya. They were talking about the management earlier on, and it's always been heart-wrenching to see that the management isn't settling in on one thing. First, you had Gary Kirsten leave, then Jason Gillespie, and now we're with Aqib Javed over here. We expect him to do wonders for Pakistan, but the chairman once said himself, the chairman PCB, that unfortunately we don't have any other players as options. So that's heart-wrenching. Need to find up somebody really quickly for the ODIs. Yes, when you talk about the T20s, I think Iftikhar Ahmed will do a good job at that position.
And fine, we have the third one-day to play on Thursday. It's an important one-day for Pakistan. Let's see Pakistan goes with this winning strike, or does Pakistan change any team combination over here, because it's a series where you can try a combination. Pakistan has to play after that to South Africa. It's one of the toughest series for Pakistan. Then we play with the Tri-Nation, and then we move on to the Champions Trophy. So it's going to be an important one-day match to watch on Thursday. We move on to India versus Australia, where India had broken all the records. I mean, a brilliant innings by India. Jaiswal, when you talk about Virat Kohli in the second innings coming up, never imagined that India would be back on the platform. How Australia just bowled them in the first innings. Aslan, literally, I never thought India would be back in that match.
Yeah, it's looked like that India is playing home series and Australia is playing away series. It simply looked like that. What a great match it was, and I don't understand what is actually the structure of India, domestic structure of India. All the new players are in the team. They even on a second didn't miss Rohit Sharma. They even didn't miss Shubman Gill. They even didn't miss Pandya at the time when they bowled out at 150. I thought it's a very low scoring match, but when they came back with 400 plus runs in the second inning and they bowled out Australia on a mere runs, it was actually a modern day cricket. It is actually a modern day cricket, and actually somebody has to understand this. They are playing situationally. They are playing according to the situation. They don't rely on Kohli. They don't rely on Shubman Gill. They don't rely on Rohit Sharma. They don't even rely on Pandya. They don't rely on Ashwin. Bumrah was the sole flight at the time. Bumrah got 5 wickets in the first inning. Bumrah got 3 wickets in the second inning. What a great match it was, and even he was captaining the team, but still he was performing superbly. He was performing from the front. That's what we need. That kind of a player we need. That kind of performances we need if we want to dominate the world now. That kind of performances we need. How they played the second inning, it was marvelous. It was unimaginable. It was unimaginable. I thought that Australia is playing in India, not India is playing in Australia. That's what a world need to see.
On a lighter note, obviously they literally outclassed Australia, but Sabir was something. I mean, because what I thought was that I didn't see Australia team in the match. I mean, because when rightly pointed by Aslan, because it just looked that India are playing in India, because Australians are known to psychologically pressurize you the way they talk on, where they speak to you. It was the Indians, I mean, they were talking to the Australian fast bowlers. It just seemed, was the IPL stuff going on in the Australian mind?
Look, I mean, Australians, they are known to play, fast bowling really well. But this time they have, they have to have, some kind of a medicine of their own test. I mean, when they basically Bumrah won the toss and he decided to, bat first. Matthew Hayden was very happy in the combos because he basically wanted, Australia should be bowling and on that particular track because there was a moisture, fast green track, some young kind of opening partnership by Jaiswal as well. But hats off to them, 59 for 5, 73 for 6. Again, the Nitesh Reddy kind of a batsman coming from IPL, big exposure because he used to share the dressing room with international players. I mean, this shows the character of a youngster. Again, the kind of a 30-40 runs partnership, 150 in 49 overs. That was enough for Indian bowling lineup. Jasprit Bumrah, he's a basically great bowler. He basically performed in every condition, in every format, I would say. Look, I mean, in the second inning, what happened to Australia? The major difference was Australian basically played only 108 overs, 49 overs in the first inning, 58 overs in the second inning, and then in India, they basically played for 50 overs in the first inning, 134 overs in the second inning. Then basically killed the psychological kind of impact on Australian all kind of players. There was a fatigue as well. Some senior players, kind of old legs, I would say, Stark, Hazelwood, against Cummins as well. But again, hats off to the Indian kind of a gelled up. The youngsters basically in these kind of conditions, you need to have some aggressive, but sensible aggressive. Look at Harshit Rana, the way basically he bowled, Mohammad Siraj, lots of sledging. Australians basically known for sledging, but again they had Indians on the other hand. Hats off to them, a remarkable victory for them. And this particular time, I'm quite favorite for this particular time. India would be favorite for this particular series, I would say.
Ahsan, everyone has been talking about Virat Kohli, everyone has been talking about Bumrah, but Jaiswal, what a talent to watch on. I mean, if you just look at his story, where he came from, what he used to do to earn and play cricket, a marvelous talent, I would say. A guy who says that I'm there to perform for India every innings. What I see is my last innings, I need to be there 100%.
Absolutely. Jaiswal is a gem for India right now. A person who was actually making sure that he makes a stall and sells pani puri and then making it to the team. What a dream come true. But when you talk about the Australians, Abbas, you mentioned one thing. You said that did they have IPL in their mind? Are you accusing them of having their IPL contracts being cancelled or something? On the lighter note now. When you talk about Australia, playing in Australia, I think Jasprit Bumrah pulled out a Pat Cummins on the Australian.
Ahsan, what I think was that it's not something because that's the taste. I mean, when you don't take your country serious, that's what IPL does with you. They were not sold out for what prizes they were given last year, if you remember. That's the taste what they have been given.
Absolutely, agreed. That was on a lighter note, nothing to be offended at. I'm making sure now that Jasprit Bumrah pulled out a Pat Cummins on the Australians themselves. Coming in now, taking 5 wickets in the first innings. Second, he took 3, along with Siraj in the second innings, made sure that he takes 3 wickets. Harshit Rana, he made sure that he takes 3 wickets as well. On the other hand, Virat Kohli, who was criticized for not playing well, came out and made sure he scores a century along with Jaiswal. This is what good players do. They gel up together and make sure the innings is so long that the others sitting in their own home ground get confused. Something of the sense happened to the Indians while in their backyard, done by the Australians earlier on. So I think this is a payback right now for the Indians.
It is.
I basically,
sure.
I basically for Jaiswal in 2022, when I saw him, playing for Ranji Trophy, he had some kind of, behavioral issues as well. With Ajinkya Rahane was the captain. The way he was handled by the BCCI, it was hats off to them. And this is the time basically he's proving he's basically serving his country on a high, especially away from home. Heads off a player, in 2022, I basically tweeted him. Jaiswal will be a great player for India, and this is how he's showing. He's a great character, I would say. He's an aggressive player. Again, technically he's very sound. That is the reason he basically survived more 102 balls in the second inning in Australia. Hats off to him.
Thank you to all the 3 gentlemen. But for me, on a serious note, when you talk about Australia, because obviously when you talk about Australia under 19. Australia I've played against under 19 Australia players. I know, they take cricket very seriously. I was literally confused to watch Australia in the last test match. What was going on in the mindset, because the batsman of India, Jaiswal, he was actually playing with us psychologically, the way he was talking to the fast bowlers that you don't have pace mate. The thing what they say on, I was literally confused to see whether is this the Australian team or something else was going on in the match, because on that day IPL auction was also going on. Might be because IPL might have to pick them up, but let's see what happens in the second test match. But it was a great test match. Specifically happy to see an Asian side beating Australia in Australia, where Pakistan even beat them in the ODI series. It's Pakistan versus Zimbabwe even on Thursday. I hope Pakistan has a brilliant outing in Zimbabwe and we have a great team to watch on even the T20s and in the South Africa series. For me and from the entire team, it's good for now.